All right, to give you a big welcome, we're live on the Iron Thunder Racing Network. This is the Fort Worth Screen Printing Premier Series of the Iron Thunder Racing League. Just under 6 minutes left here in practice. Practice running a little over tonight. Session issues going to cause practice to be extended by about a little over 6 minutes or so. So in 5 minutes and about 30 seconds now, the Fast Cat Racing 150 from New Hampshire Motor Speedway, the drivers will go out for their qualifying. And we'll let you get a little view of some practice here tonight, walk you through some of those times. We'll throw the best time up on the top of your screen as the ticker rolls across. Those are the fastest laps that each driver has turned. And they'll be notated as Kelvin Mosier right now showing fast time on the speedway. We're going to look at that 43 as that car will come back out onto the speedway. Sam O'Malley's Chevrolet. Kelvin Mosier, he turned a best lap of a 30.727. Going to be the quickest so far here in practice tonight with 4 minutes and 30 seconds left before we move into qualifying for the Fast Cat Racing 150 from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We'll get a look at while we have some time. We'll take a look at those point standings. And Sean Bounty coming in tonight with the points lead. 370. Be a 10-point lead over Josh Ball in an 88 car. Roger Diebold coming in tonight. Third in points. Brendan Klusterhuis. Fourth. Your top five would be Brendan Pampatat. And Pampatat actually made the Final Four over in the Rust Series. So next Monday night, he'll bid for a championship at Homestead Miami Speedway in our Athens Screen Printing Rust Series. Well, if you're not familiar, we run those on Monday night. And we do appreciate that. Josh Cully just outside the top five in points. Cully already has 2 wins on his docket for that Sip and Shine racing machine. John Garrett currently 7th in points with 1 win. George Belfons Jr. with a win at Fort Worth Screen Printing Esports machine. 8th in points. 9th, Matt Quick. Raymond Rittenauer rounds out your top 10 in points. As we keep moving on, we'll take a look at that team standings. Rebel Racing leading the team standings at the moment. M&M Motorsports second in your team standings. Rebel Racing with 1 win, 7 top 5s, 11 top 10s. Picking up 2 poles as of last week. And back 94 spots as M&M Motorsports. They have 2 wins on the year. 5 top 5s and 16 top 10s. JCOM sits 3rd in points with 1 win, 7 top 5s, 15 top 10s, and 1 pole. Cosmic Motorsports 4th in points. 1 win, 5 top 5s. 8 top 10s and 2 poles. Fort Worth Esports coming in to round out your top 5 and team points with the 1 win, 7 top 5s, 9 top 10s, and 1 pole. And I'll look at your team standings and points coming into tonight's action as we're still rolling here at practice, taking a look at the 94 machine of George Belfons Jr. Tonight is the 9th race of Season 7 of the Iron Thunder Racing League Fort Worth Screen Printing Premier Series. Josh Cully picking up the first 2 wins from Daytona and Texas Motor Speedway. We went and did the double down at Auto Club Speedway, which saw John Garrett picking up the first of those twin 100s, and Dave Matson picking up the second half of that doubleheader back on March 22nd. Sawyer Ott found the win Tuesday, March 29th from the dirt track at Charlotte Motor Speedway for the Bailey Curry Racing Showdown 100. The World 250 from Twin Ring Motegi saw Josh Ball sweeping the night, picking up the pole and the win. The Count 200 back on April the 12th from iRacing Super Speedway saw Corey Deal grab the pole, George Belfons Jr. bringing home the checkered flag. And last Tuesday, April the 19th, the Country Roads hauling 175 from Watkins Glen. Sean Bounty grabbed the pole and Roger Diebold brought home the checkered flag. And we're getting set to come and put these guys under green for qualifying conditions as practice has come to a close. And we'll see who can pull out the Plain Out Haulin' Ass Award here from New Hampshire Motor Speedway Fast Cat Racing 150. And Nathan Shiflett, South Carolina native, will take his 57 Napa Auto Parts machine out onto the Speedway. Storm Patterson out on the Speedway as well. And we'll see who has what it takes to bring home the Plain Out Haulin' Ass Award tonight. Josh Ball's 88 machine on the Speedway. Matthew Wells and Michael bring his 31 Ford Mustang to the racing surface. Nathan Shiflett down into turn number 2. Turn 3 and 4 as he exits the back straightaway. Matt Cherry will be one of the first across the line. Matt Quick to the top of the board, 30.83. One quick moment. There we go. Got our timing screen back. Matt Quick, top of the board, 30.839. Brendan Klusterhu's second quick with a 30.848. Roger Diebold jumps up there. That dude White's 38 machine. Oh, just got knocked down to 5th, 30.884. Sean Bounty jumps up to the top spot in that Bounty Hunter machine. North Hills, California driver with a 30.762, 762. The Bounty Hunter, Sean Bounty. Jackson Allen back with us. Jackson Allen has that 91 machine. His first lap, a 31.021. Good enough for 9th quick so far on the Speedway. Second lap down. And he'll jump up to the 6th spot at a 30. Now down to 7th. Kelvin Moser just put himself runner up on the Speedway. That Sam O'Malley's machine, a 30.818, 30818 for Kelvin Moser. That'll put him second quick, Matt Quick third, fourth, Brendan Klusterhuis, fifth, Matthew Klusterhuis. Dave Matson, Rapid City, South Dakota driver, will go 9th quick. The 30.927, 30927 for Dave Matson. George Belfons Jr. just jumped up. And that Shine 94 machine Second quick with a 30.78. A 30.78 with a 6 for George Belfons Jr. Second quick. It'll drop Kelvin Mosier back to the third spot. Brendan Klusterhuis, your top 5. Just a few minutes left as we are getting ready to take the grid. Sam Green on the Speedway, that Starlight Coca-Cola machine. Chevrolet Camaro, his first lap of the 31.017 for the 21 car. Sam Green will flash across the stripe. He will go up to the 7th spot. The 30.882, 30.882 for Sam Green. John Garrett, 16th quick. His quickest lap going to be the second lap, a 31.01. 31.014 for John Garrett into 66. Tyler, Texas native. Made his ARCA racing debut. This weekend at Talladega Super Speedway. And we're going to set the grid as drivers climb aboard their machines. Stages coming at 40 and 80. Lap 40 and 80 for your stages. We'll walk you through the grid while we have a moment. Row number 1. As we get it set. Row number 1, we'll find Sean Bounty to the inside, your Plain Out Haul and Ass Award winner. To the outside, the 94 car to be George Belfons Jr. Row number 2, the 43 of Kelvin Mosier to his outside, starting in the 4th position. It will be the 89 car, that'll be Matt Quick. Row number 3, Brendan Klusterhuis into 25. To the outside of him will be the 42 of Matthew Klusterhuis. Row number 4, the 21 car, Florida native of Sam Green. To the outside, in the 38 machine, it'll be Roger the Bulldozer Diebold. Row number 5, Jackson Island Storm Patterson to the inside. To the outside. Row number 6, it'll be Dave Matson in the 09. To his outside, starting 12th, that'll be the 48 car, that'll be Brendan Papatat. Row number 7, we'll find Matt Cherry in the 5 car. And to the outside, it'll be the 28 car of Justin White. Row 8, the 47 of Dustin Franklin. To the outside, John Garrett in the 66 car. Row number 9, the 88 car, it'll be Josh Ball. And to the outside, starting 18th, it'll be Zachary Kreiser in the 39 car. Row 10, we'll find Treston Ott and Matt Jorgensen. Row 11, Sawyer Ott, Daniel Half. Row 12, inside to be Alex Little, outside JT Lauderdale. Row 13, Nathan Shiflett, Jace Mosier. Row 14, Paul Smith, Kyle Hall. Row 15, Elaine Hughes and Adam Schroen. Row 16, Raymond Rittenauer, Josh Cully. Row 17 will be Corey Deal, Matthew Welsenbach. And that'll round out our 34 car starting field here tonight. As the field files their way down the back straightaway, Fast Cat Racing 150 getting ready to go green as they work their way now into turns number 4. $150 laps, stages 40 and 80. Fast Cat Racing 150 is green. George Belfons Jr. jumped out to the early lead down into turn number 1. That 94 Shine Ford Mustang GT, the Bounty Hunter, lurking in that second spot. They'll fall in line down the back straightaway. One car already around. Looked like it might have been the 24 car. Excuse me, I did get that wrong. It was the 29 of Elaine Hughes. We already see her getting a little sideways already. Oh, a little contact from Jace Mosier in the 44 car. George Belfont Jr., your leader. Under the first caution, flag of the night. Sean Bounty in that second spot. Kelvin Mosier, third. Fourth will be Brendan Kloosterhoos. Matthew Kloosterhoos rides in the fifth spot. Having a little trouble with our timing screen. Flipping through sessions. A little refresh and we're good to go. And a big shout out to the Josh Kelly Fan Club, Taco Tuesday. The virtual watch party for the Josh Kelly Fan Club. Utah, Idaho, Montana, Arizona, California, and Wyoming tonight. All tuned in. We appreciate you for watching the Iron Thunder Racing Network. We are under our first caution of the night. If you joined us last night, cautions were at a minimum. And really had an exciting finish between Bailey Curry, who tried to stay out and make it all the way on a long green flag run. Storm Patterson able to run him down, but not able to make the pass on the Bailey Curry machine. Patterson looking to best his finish last night by one position and bring home the checkered flag for New Hampshire Motor Speedway here tonight. Lights out on the pace car. George Belfont Jr., Sean Bounty to bring the field back to life. They ride off into turn number 1. George Belfont Jr., your leader. Kelvin Mosier in that 43 car going to move into that third spot. Oh, that one car overcorrecting. Looks like it might have been a 48 car. Caution out on the speedway. Oh, looks like we have a few. Sawyer Ike get a little piece of it. And then we see Dustin Franklin losing the handle. Jorgensen involved. It looks like it started maybe with the 48 car. Trying to get the replay, cannot find the replay. It is avoided us somehow. We can go back and find the lone car that spun. It definitely was not the 48 car. .42 possibly of Kalusterhuis. Yes, it was Kalusterhuis, and all that was happening simultaneously. As everything was going on in the back. But nonetheless, second caution out of the night. George Belfons Jr. He's led 8 laps tonight, most of those under yellow flying conditions. Sean Bounty scored in the second spot. Lap 10 of 150 on the board. The field works their way down the back straightaway. Lights have been extinguished around the racing surface. And we'll bring it back green flag racing. So this time by George Belfons Jr., your leader. He'll choose the inside for this restart. He'll have Sean Bounty to his outside. Kelvin Mosier inside of row number 2. Outside will be Brendan the King Kalusterhuis. Matt Quick, Sam Green make up row number 3. All in the hands now. George Belfons Jr. He'll smash the loud pedal once again. And they'll dive off into turn number 1. 11 of 150 complete. First stage caution coming at lap 40. Oh, Mosier had to get on the binders over in turn number 2. And he'll give up the spot to Brendan the King Kalusterhuis, who moves into that third spot. Fourth running right now going to be the Sam Green machine. I'll take that back. 5th running Sam Green. And caution out on the Speedway. Once again, Matt Cherry involved. Oh, Matt Quick, 48, 6, and a 5, all going to get involved in this one. Another replay. Back just a little bit, get another look from a different angle. Quick getting up, bicycling over there in turn number 1. I believe this is the 3rd caution of the night. Lap 14 of 150 complete. George Belfons Jr. still shows the way. Now 13 laps led. They got that jump at the start of the night. Got that jump on the pole sitter of Sean Bounty. Was able to beat him down into turn number 1 and clear that 34 Bounty Hunter Toyota Camry on the back straightaway. $15 of 150. Still under the caution. Riley should see the lights go out on the pace car this time. Coming to the green, on the loud pedal goes that 94 Shine Machine. The Belfons Racing 94 car. On the hammer, here we go. Off of the turn number 1, we are racing. That is George Belfont Jr., Sean Bounty, running 1 and 2, just as they have since the drop of the green flag here just 17 laps ago. Oh, look at battle for the lead to the inside. Here comes the Bounty Hunter hunting down the front straightaway. And George Belfont Jr. going to pull away now by a car length. And Sean Bounty quickly closes that. But he's going to lose a spot now. They're getting ready to go 3 wide with Sam Green down the back straightaway, trying to keep these cars under control. 42, Matthew Kloosterhuis. And look out. Over in turn number 2. They were scattered, smothered, and covered. I know the 88 car, Josh Ball, got involved. But Jason Mosier and a parking lot party on the exit of turn number 2. Coming out once again. And I believe these guys still having a little bit of trouble with this next gen car. Look out. Big penalty coming to your leader. And we're going to have to back it up to that restart. Here's a look, the 94, George Belfont Jr. changing lanes before the start-finish line on the restart. Caution came out before he could serve a pull-through, a drive-through through pit road. And up in front of the 34 before the start-finish line. And tough break for George Belfont Jr. And that'll be an end-of-line penalty since we are under the yellow flag. He'll go to the longest, tail end of the longest line for violating the lane change rule on the restart. Sean Bounty will inherit the lead. Still under our 4th caution of the night. Pacing .34, Sean Bounty, your leader now. Brendan Klooster, who's in that second spot, will be Sam Green. 3rd, 4th will be Kelvin Mosier. Running out the top 5, the 38 car, Roger Diebold. Lights out on the pace car, lights out around the racetrack. We'll come back to the green flag next time by the start-finish line. Once we enter the restart zone, the field will be in command of the Bounty Hunter 34 car of Sean Bounty. Klooster, who's going to start outside of him. Row number 2, Green and Mosier. Row 3, Diebold, Matson. Taking a look back through the field, knowing that a caution is going to come out on lap 40 Top 13 cars have yet to see pit road. Green flag back in the air, Sean Bounty. A good restart for that 34 car. And quickly, Klosterhuis had to jump on the binders as he was all over the back deck lid of that 34 car of Sean Bounty. Oh, touch from Mosier. Sam Green going to get turned back in front of the field. Huge hit on Kyle Hall. And caution for the 5th time. Back it up and get a look. Drives right in to the left rear corner. Oh, the 56 Corey Deal getting a piece of that as well. And Sam Green car, front end of that machine completely destroyed. Another look at it, almost had it saved, and nowhere to go for Kyle Hall in that 90 car. Jason Mosier able to squeeze by as the rest of the field avoiding that 21 Starlight car of Sam Green. Back under caution once again. 25 laps in the books. Down to your leader, Klosterhuis. Brendan Klosterhuis in the second spot. Dave Matson third. Fourth, now Jackson Allen. Roger Diebold fifth. John Garrett rides sixth. Seventh will be Justin White. Eighth, Kyle Hall. Ninth will be Corey Deal. Sawyer Ott rounds out the top 10. Josh Cully's already moved up 6th spot in that Flow Racing machine. Currently scored in 25th. Trying to avoid any damage. As speaking of Flow Racing Night in America, $20,022 to win, however you say that. Happening tonight in Eldora. B Main's on getting ready to hit the racetrack for the super late models. Eldora Street Stocks in action along with open wheel modifieds. Flow Racing Night in America from Eldora live on Flow Racing. Had over an inch of rain in Eldora last night. Track real heavy and has taken some competitors out for the night. Guys not making the heat races, having trouble in qualifying. Kyle Bronson had to scramble to a backup car to make it for his heat race. But back here to the Iron Thunder Racing League, Sean Bounty getting ready to enter the restart zone. And he's looking for another good restart like the last and hoping for some green flag laps to stretch this one out just a bit. Green flag in the air, lap 28 will go on the board. Sean Bounty will lead him off into turn number 1. Good restart once again over that 25 of Brendan the King Klosterhuis. And Jackson Allen around. Another look at it. Dave Matson comes up a little bit. Gets a hold of the 91 of Allen, and nothing he can do but loop it. And just around he went. Well, nobody else involved. 6 caution tonight. Definitely not intentional on Matson's part. But nonetheless, it brings us in our 6th caution of the night. 30 laps complete, and the majority of those under yellow flag conditions. Sean Bounty has led 11 of the 30. Qualified on the pole. Lowest he's been tonight is that 2nd spot. 88 of Josh Ball going to get a lap back here. Waiting on that 1 to go signal from high top the flag stand here at New Hampshire Motor Speedway. We'll go 1 to green this time by Loudon, New Hampshire. Been hosting NASCAR races annually since 1990. And also is the longest running motorcycle race in North America, the Loudon Classic. $76,000 seats. Variable banking here, 2 to 7 degrees, a 12% grade and a 1 degree banking on the straightaways. Open June 5th, 1990. Features an asphalt and granite surface. We're at green. Sean Downey with another great restart. Roger Diebold going to work around Dave Matson. He'll put himself into the 3rd spot. As at top 4 goes single file, John Garrett making his way quietly up through the field, up 11 spots now as he rides inside the top 5. Justin White in that 28 grinds coffee pouches machine. On the outside looking in, Corey Deal right now running in the 7th spot. And we've got another one. It's like Matt Cherry involved again. Here we go, gonna bring it out. Oh, that looks like it may have happened in front of him with the Jace Mosier machine. Already see him sideways here. Take a look at the Mosier machine. It's like that car stepping, rear end stepping out of it. And he'll tag the left rear quarter of the 5 of Matt Cherry. Tress and Ott tried to avoid, come right down in the front of the 9 of Adam Schroen. Schroen's Mountain Dew Chevrolet damaged. Seven cautions, 36 laps. Will not be the stage as we'll go back to green before lap 40, before the conclusion of lap 40. We'll actually see the caution flag come out when we take lap 41. Still looking at that top 8. Nobody been on pit road. Sawyer Ott pitted 8 laps into the event. He's the only one inside the top 10 that has seen pit road. Make that the top 11 cars that have yet to pit, with the exception of Sawyer Ott in the 35 machine, pitted on lap number 8. Green flag back in the air, lap 39 on the board of 150. And there'll be a shootout to the stage break here. Roger Diebold working underneath Dave Matson now, down the back straightaway. Top 3, 4, 5 cars go single file. Corey Deal and the 66 car of John Garrett ride side by side. That battle for the 6th spot. Still side by sides through turns 1 and 2. John Garrett will pick up the spot. Down the back straightaway, not so quick. Corey Deal will challenge right back to the outside into turn number 3. He'll enter 3 and 4 side by side. Deal on the outside. Garrett to the inside as we come for the stage break. And John Garrett getting that spot. It'll be Sean Bounty, your stage winner. Brendan Clushhouse, Roger Debo, Dave Matson, Justin White, John Garrett, Corey Deal, Kyle Hall, Matt Quick, Storm Patterson. Your top 10 points paying positions at the end of stage number 1. Finally saw some green flag laps strung together there, although not many. But nonetheless, we'll take what we can get here as the field will pick up the pace car. Down the back straightaway, Sean Bounty, Brendan Clutch, Roger Debo, Dave Matson, Justin White, John Garrett, Corey Deal, Kyle Hall, Storm Patterson, Matt Quick. Your top 10, 42 of 150 complete. John Garrett, Corey Deal, Matt Quick all staying out from the drop of the green flag. JT Lauderdale, Matthew Kluser, George Belfons Jr., Kelvin Mosier, Zachary Kreiser all staying out under this caution. So that'll put Sean Bounty back in ninth. Top 8 cars not visiting pit road this go around. Green flag back in the air. Footwear screen printing 66 car John Garrett. The lead Corey Deal, Matt Quick, JT Lauderdale off into turn number 1. 46 of 150 complete. They'll file down the back straight away. Everybody out of turn 2 cleanly. Corey Deal right in that second spot. That degree 56 Toyota Camry. Matt Quick back there in third. Oh, JT Lauderdale got a piece of that outside retaining wall. Right in front of the 42 car of Matthew Klusterhoos and that Bitcoin machine. And Klusterhoos going to lose it. He catches it, chases it up to Speedway. Now overcorrects hard in the outside wall. We stay green for the moment. And he keeps it pointed in the right direction. Matthew Klusterhoos, good gosh almighty's. Hard hit an outside wall after he chased it up the racetrack. Did everything he could do to keep that car from spinning and chased it right into the outside retaining wall. 6 laps now led for the Fort Worth screen printing driver of John Garrett. Corey Deal right in that second spot. Third now Bill Fons Jr. after a lane change violation on the restart as a leader. Had to go to the tail end of the longest line. And now has stayed out on the speedway. And only 12 laps ago that he pitted under one of the earlier cautions. He's got the freshest tires inside the top 5 for sure, with the exception of Roger Diebold. He'll have about 6 lap newer tires. One car comes onto the speedway. Elaine Hughes, trouble with her car. Let's back up and see what happened to the Elaine Hughes machine. That car already off the speedway here. Looks like she might have lost the handle out of turn number 2. Soul car down to the inside. She tags that Armco on the inside. Gets the car pointed back in the right direction. No oncoming traffic. So we stay green. No change in that top 5 at the moment. They'll run single file. Dave Matson up 5 spots as he works inside of the 89 of Matt Quick. Start finish line. Those 2 cars touch. Quick goes all the way up the racetrack. High, wide, and handsome into turn number 1 as 6 Storm Patterson will actually get around as we got a battle for that runner-up spot. George Belfons Jr. Gonna look inside. Corey Deal now. Roger Debo going to look to follow the 94 George Belfons Jr. through. He'll let that Mustang GT punch a hole. And he'll slip underneath the 56 of Corey Deal as they'll work their way out of turn number 2. Now battle for that 3rd spot is on. Roger Debo all the way to the bottom of the speedway, and Sawyer Ott has brought out the caution. And replay coming up. Looks like trouble with the 09 of Dave Matson. Ott loses the handle. And iRacing throws the caution for the Ott Company. 35 JCOM entry. We're back under caution once again. John Garrett, your leader. Showing 11 laps led for John Garrett. We'll double check that information. Top 10 as they run: John Garrett, George Belfons Jr., Corey Deal, Roger Diebold, Kelvin Mosier, Storm Patterson, Brendan Klufuth, Matt Quick, Sean Bounty, and Justin White. Lights have been extinguished around the racing surface. Field working their way down the back straightaway, 2 by 2. 14 laps now led by John Garrett. George Belfons Jr. going to pull up alongside. Corey Deal, Roger Debo make up for number 2. Kelvin Mosier, Storm Patterson in row 3. Brendan Klufuth and Matt Quick, row number 4. Green flag back in the air. Belfons Jr. Oh, looks like that car gets loose. Might have spun the tires on the restart. That'll give Corey Deal that runner-up spot that stacked him up just a little bit behind him. Roger Diebold had to jump on the binders to keep from running over the 94 car of George Belfons Jr. But we stay green as we work our way down the back straightaway. 43 car, Kelvin Mosier trying to work underneath now, George Belfons Jr. They'll race side by side down the front, straightaway across the stripe. Still neck and neck off into turn number 1. Belfons on the top of the speedway, Kelvin Mosier on the bottom. Belfons Jr. trying to get back to that runner-up spot. Ultimately looking for the top spot on the racetrack. He led 18 laps before getting a lane change penalty on a restart, leading. Had to go to the tail end of the longest line. Corey Deal washes up the speedway. The exit of turn number 2 now. Down the back straightaway, Corey Deal will slip back to 3rd. Deposit the 94 Belfons Jr. into the runner-up spot. Kelvin Mosier and Roger Diebold riding side-by-side, contact with them. Contact between the 25 of Klusterhuis and the 6 of Storm Patterson. Klusterhuis going to lose 2 spots now. One to the 34 Bounty Hunter machine of Sean Bounty, who's picking them off one at a time, making his way back up to the front after pitting during the stage break. Which for Sean Bounty would have been 17 laps ago. Corey Deal and John Garrett, the lone drivers in the top 5 that stayed out since the drop of the green flag. And John Garrett currently shows the way with a 0.6 second lead over the 94 car, George Belfons Jr. And Kelvin Mosier going to look inside of Corey Deal now into turn number 3. The Sam O'Malley's machine positioned underneath the 56 of Corey Deal. They'll exit turn number 4, and Kelvin Mosier will jump up in front of that 56 of Corey Deal. He'll run now in the 3rd spot, right where he started the night. Roger Diebold looking to take his fresher tires in that Dude White machine and go to the 4th spot and take it away from Corey Deal. Corey Deal, the big mover so far in the race, using that stage brake to stay out. He is up 28 spots, but he's about to give it up to Roger Diebold. Hard contact with the outside wall. The 6 of Storm Patterson got into him. He keeps it straight. That car getting loose on him. They're not sure what the damage is on the front of that Storm Patterson machine as we see the hood up just a little bit. Oh, trouble. 2 cars back there. The 12 of Paul Smith. Somehow we stay green. 2 cars on the bottom of the speedway. The 90 of Kyle Hall gets loose. And the 12 overcorrects. They both make contact into the inside Armco. They're back on track and we stay green. John Garrett continues to lead. George Belfons Jr. trying to run him down. Lap 65 of 150 on the board. Kelvin Mosier holding on to 3rd. As a caution comes out, Sam Green in trouble. Oh, hard into the outside wall. Dave Matson gets into him. He'll spin right at the start-finish line. And iRacing throws another one. Tenth caution of the night comes out. It'll slow the pace once again. 66 on the board. The end of stage number 2 going to come at lap 80 of 150. 69 laps now complete. John Garrett's led 27 of those laps. Started tonight in the 16th spot. He's up 15 positions from where he started tonight. George Belfons Jr. finds himself right where he started off, on the outside front row, along with the Kelvin Mosier machine inside row number 2, right where he started. The lowest the 66 car has been on the Speedway tonight is 18th. Looking for a good restart. Pace car is off. Garrett enters the restart zone. Belfons Jr. looking for a better start than what he had on the last restart, and he'll get it this time. And he'll ride in the tire tracks of John Garrett. There's side-by-side action behind Belfons. Roger Debold, 43 of Kelvin Mosier. Those Chevrolets battle side by side as they exit turn number 4. Through the front straightaway, Kelvin Mosier will get the run off of turn number 4. He'll flash across the stripe as lap 71 goes on the board. Caution out on the Speedway. '42 car was getting ready to get a penalty for passing before the start-finish line. It was going to have to yield and give the position back, but the yellow flag come out, and it looks like it may have been for the 47 of Dustin Franklin. You see him go off into turn number 3. The rear end of the car steps out, and around he goes. Another iRacing caution coming out. Garrett, Belfons, Mosier, Patterson, Debold, the top 5. As we're under the 11th caution of the night. 10 for incident. 1 for our stage break number 1. Stage number 2 going to come at the conclusion of lap 80. Working lap 73 now. 150 make up the total distance here from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. The Fast Cat Racing 150. And a big thanks to Elaine Hughes for sponsoring tonight's Fort Worth Screen Printing Premier Series race from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Sean Bounty currently rides in that 6th spot. Corey Deal 7th. 8th will be Brandon Kloosterhuis. 9th, Justin White. Matt Quick rounds out the top 10. Josh Cully up 20 spots to the 11th position. Dan Half rides 12th. 13th will be Sawyer Ott. 14th, Tresnant Jace Mosier up 11 spots to 15th. 16th will be Alex Little in the 16 car. 17th, JT Lauderdale up 7 spots to 18th is Nathan Shiflett in the 57 car. Matthew Wilsonbach in the 31. He's up 14 spots. He rides 19th. And Zach Kreiser round out the top 20 with 74 laps complete on the Speedway. Should see the 1 to go signal next time by. We'll see the lights go out on top of the pace car to indicate the 1 to green. We appreciate you taking your time out to join us here on the Iron Thunder Racing Network. 7th season of the Iron Thunder Racing League Premier Series. A journey that seems like it weren't that long ago that we started. Coming up on the 100th race in our Premier Series. And that's going to happen on race number 12 of the season. The Dega 200, presented by RNG Heating and Cooling from Talladega Super Speedway. We'll have 2 races in between that. We'll go to Homestead next weekend for the Ryan Sadusky Memorial 200, or next Tuesday night, excuse me. And then the Southern 250, that'll be race 99 from Darlington Speedway under the lights, 114 laps. That is Tuesday, May the 10th. Pace car off. John Garrett right back on the hammer. Here we go. He smashes the loud pedal. And that battle for the runner-up spot going to be heated down into turn number 1. Belfons, Mosier, side by side. Mosier slams it down into turn number 1. George Belfons Jr. on the outside. They'll drag race down the back straightaway. 38 of Roger Diebold right there in the wings, waiting on either one of those two to slip. Close racing for that runner-up spot. Storm Patterson going to throw his name in the hat. Now Roger Diebold going to look underneath the 43 of Mosier. He wants that 3rd spot from the Sam O'Malley's driver. Into turns 1 and 2 they roll. Now exit turn number 2. Good run off of turn number 2 by the 43 of Mosier. Now the 38 of Roger Diebold under fire from Storm Patterson. Patterson able to clear, and the bounty hunter hunting back there, trying to make it back to that top spot. And he'll race side by side across the line with Roger Diebold as they battle for that 5th position. Give it to the Sean Bounty at the line. They're still side by side. Good battle right now going on for that 5th spot. Roger Diebold has it, and Sean Bounty wants to take it away. That 34 car is set on kill on the outside. Right now, Roger Diebold. They continue to ride side by side. Diebold and the Cosmic Motorsports machine. They continue to race side by side. Corey Deal getting a little piece of the outside wall as he rides outside of Justin White in that 9th spot. 8th and 9th, they battle. Still seeing them side by side racing for that 5th spot. They swap back and forth across the line. 43 of Kelvin Mosier riding in that 3rd spot. John Garrett still leading. 38 laps that he's led, and 80 laps has been on the racetrack all night without coming to the attention of his crew one single time. And the stage 2 caution going to come out here. John Garrett, George Belfons Jr., Kelvin Mosier, Storm Patterson, Roger Diebold, Sean Bounty, Brendan Kloosterhoos, Justin White, Josh Cully, and Corey Deal, your top 10 points paying positions at the end of stage number 2. Good stretch there to the stage break. Leading 40 laps so far here tonight, John Garrett will get the win for stage number 2. He'll pick up the pace car, but a ways down the back straightaway. We'll see the 66 car of John Garrett. He'll pull on to pit road. And everybody in the top 15, with the exception of Dan Half, going to stay out on this or go into pit road. Dan Half, Josh Ball going to stay out along with JT Lauderdale and Dave Matson. Lane Hughes, Sam Green, I believe those are lap cars. Everybody else coming down pit road. Down and away goes the 66 car of John Garrett. The 14.2 second stop. It looks like Kelvin Mosier may have won that, indeed won that race off of pit road. Get you those pit times. 14.8 second stop for Kelvin Mosier on pit lane, 37.5 seconds. And a 14.2 second stop for John Garrett on pit lane for 38.4 seconds. And pit road pit stall selection via qualifying definitely played into the advantage of Kelvin Mosier. He had that closer pit stall, and that made the difference on pit road to get him out in front of the John Garrett machine. But Dan Half scored as your leader. Josh Ball scored second. Field going to double up behind the iRacing.com pace car. Third going to be JT Lauderdale. Dave Matson fourth. Fifth will be Lane Hughes, Sam Green sixth. And then Kelvin Mosier will restart in the seventh position. Quite a bit of damage on the cars up front. Green flag back in the edge. Super clean 32 of Dan Half. Going to bring the field back to life. They dive off into turn number one. Josh Ball going to clear Dave Matson. And at 09 to 17 of JT Lauderdale. Looks like that car stepped out just a little bit. The 6 of Storm Patterson. Oh, Josh Ball loops it down the back straightaway. Right in front of the field. It's like he lost it on the exit of turn number 2. Kept the car down on the grass surface to the inside of the back straightaway as the field filed by safely on the outside. Dan Half will give up the lead. He'll come down pit road. That'll turn the lead over to Dave Matson in the 09. And he'll be credited with his first lap led tonight. Qualified in the 11th position. dropped all the way back to 29th. And now has found himself leading the field with 88 laps complete. We touched on the point standings at the beginning of the night. Josh Cully, John Garrett, Dave Matson, Sawyer Ott, Josh Ball, George Belfont Jr., Roger Diebold, all picking up wins. And punching their ticket already to the chase. Josh Cully, the only repeat winner so far here in season 7, picked up the first 2 wins of the season back at Daytona and Texas. John Garrett got the win in race number 3. Dave Matson the win in race number 4. Sawyer Ott picked up race win number 5. Race number 6 saw Josh Ball picking the victory. George Belfont Jr. won race number 7, and Roger Diebold won last week from Watkins Glen, race 8. And we find ourselves here for New Hampshire, race number 9 of the 7th season of the Iron Thunder Racing League Fort Worth Screen Printing Premier Series. Can we see a new winner tonight? Or will somebody join Josh Cully as the second repeat winner of the season? Dave Matt's going to restart on the outside. He'll have Sam Green to his inside. Green recovering from an early incident. Looks like Green has used that quick fix. A single quick fix that is supplied to these drivers. Pace car going to dip off. In the restart zone we go. Dave Matson will lead the field into turn number 1. Sam Green in the second spot. JT Lauderdale right now, side by side with the 94 George Belfont Jr. John Garrett going to slip to the outside of JT Lauderdale. He'll go high, wide, and handsome as they exit turn number 4 on the Speedway. John Garrett going to pick up that 5th spot. JT Lauderdale trying to hold on, but he'll have Kelvin Mosier to his outside. Up the Speedway, contact with Kelvin Mosier. They make contact again right in front of the field. Nathan Shiflett all the way through the grass. 42 of Matthew Klooster who's involved, and the caution rings out once again. Oh man, nowhere to go for Nathan Shiflett. Cockpit view. Tough ride for Nathan Shiflett. Back it up just a second. So he was running behind the 29 car. 29 comes down trying to avoid the 43 of Kelvin Mosier. And trouble at the front. Something we totally missed. While that was going on with your leader, let's back it up and see if we can find it. All that was going on back there. Sam Green and Dave Matson. Focused on the back. We'll see it once again. But Matson got twisted up. Matson and Sam Green having to hit pit road to the 6 of Storm Patterson on pit road. And Sean Bounty, 25 laps led tonight, finds his way back at the top of the racing board. Green flag drops once again. We're back green. Sean Bounty leads them down into turn number 1. It's George Belfons Jr. right into that second spot. 66 car John Garrett right now rides in third. 38 of Roger Debold trying to do something about it in that Cosmic Motorsports machine to the outside. Not going to go away quietly is the Dude Wipes 38 machine, but he'll give it up to the 66 of John Garrett. Garrett moves into the third spot. Corey Teal having a little bit of trouble with the outside retaining wall, and we've got a yellow once again. Not sure where the caution was. Looks like it was for the 48 of Brandon Papatat. He worked underneath the lane Hughes. Rear end steps out. He'll spin out right at the entrance of pit road. $99 of 150 in the book. Sean Bounty, George Belfons Jr., John Garrett, Roger Debold, Brendan Kluster's the top 5. Caution craziness is correct. Going to step aside for just a moment. We'll leave you with the sights around New Hampshire Motor Speedway, and we'll be back in just one moment. Alrighty, back here. Caution lights out around the Speedway. Sean Bounty set to bring the field back to life one more time on the outside. And starting on that inside, the 94 car, it'll be George Belfons Jr. Row number 2, Garrett and Debold. 102 laps on the board. We'll restart with 103 complete. 150 make up the distance. Green flag back in the air. Sean Bounty. He'll jump back on the loud pedal now. The race is on for the runner-up spot. Debold to the outside, to the inside. 94 George Belfons Jr. Belfons Jr. squeaks away with that second place. Roger Debold now under fire for the Fort Worth Green Printing 66 car. That'll be John Garrett working to his inside as they dive off into turn number 3. Roger Debold can't quite shut the door. He'll be able to out of turn number 4. Debold holds on to that third spot. John Garrett rides 4th, 5th. Brendan Klusterhuis in the 25 Ford Mustang. Sawyer Ott has moved his way up now. 15 spots as he rides 6th on the field. Oh, 6 of Storm Patterson loops it. Out of turn number 2. Caution flag flies once again. Storm Patterson will bring this one out on the exit of turn number 2. Looks like the 89-39 got them stacked up. Maybe a little net code from the 90 of Kyle Hall. And the 48 of Brandon Pampatat with more trouble as he goes down to the inside retaining wall. Stuck down there in the grass along the tires on the back straightaway and loops it trying to get back on the speedway. He now has that car pointed back in the right direction. 16th caution out of the night, 105 of 150 complete. Sean Bounty has made his way back to the front. 36 laps led, make it 37 this time by. Lights out, field doubling up. Coming back to the restart. Sean Bounty, George Belfons Jr. once again, John Garrett, Roger D. Bold. Makeup row number 2 just flip-flopped on this restart. Deja vu once again. 16th caution is over. And we're back, green flag racing. Sean Bounty with the jump out front. And we're going to go 3 wide contact with the 35 of Sawyer Ott. He's in the outside wall. He'll make contact with Kelvin Mosier. Kyle Hall, Raymond Rittenauer. They're stacked up over there in turn number 1. Dan Half was involved. John Garrett could actually be scored up into that runner-up spot now. George Belfont Jr. back to third. Roger Diebold fourth. Clusius rounds out the top five. Restart. Number 17, and we're back green. John Garrett trying to beat Roger Diebold down into turn number one. He will. Diebold trying to hold off the 94. George Belfont Jr. There goes single file on the back straightaway. Trouble for Josh Cully in the 33 car. Outside retaining wall. He kept it straight. But not after losing multiple positions. Cully now back to the 16th spot. The 90 of Kyle Hall goes around. We stay green for the moment. He'll whip the car around. No cars behind him. And we're back. We stay green. Now, meanwhile, back up front after all that unfolds. Roger Diebold, John Garrett now going to do battle. Excuse me. George Belfont Jr. just throw a blanket over second through fourth as they come through the tire smoke of the 90 of Kyle Hall. Diebold trying to get that runner-up spot away from John Garrett. Dustin Franklin around. 47 car spins. Already spinning here. Car loose into turn number one. Car steps out. Corey Deal on the binders. He'll miss the 47 of Dustin Franklin. Let's see what happened with the 33 of Cully. As he's down, loses the handle on the apron, making the transition. Doesn't hit anything, and right back, pointed in the right direction. Back it up and see if we can get the inside shot with the 56 of Corey Deal. You see he makes his move around 47 of Dustin Franklin. He was about one lane up ahead. Those drives around the outside. Now look at Dustin Franklin's 47 Fort Worth screen printing machine. Sean Bounty, 49 laps led tonight. Rides in that first spot. John Garrett has led 41 laps. He rides second. Roger Diebold scored third. Scored in the fourth position. George Belfont Jr. has led 18 laps tonight. Currently running scored in the 4th position. Brandon Klushus rounds out the top 5. Eighteenth caution of the night, 119 of 150 complete. Lights out. Coming back to the green flag is Sean Bounty. Up to speed we come. George Belfons Jr., 66 of John Garrett. Dive off in the corner number 1. They'll be side by side. Belfons Jr. trying to take away the runner-up spot. Seen smoke off in the distance. Rittenauer involved. Dave Matson involved. come back to the green flag once again. 126 now to go up on the board. Green flag in the air. John Garrett can get away from that 38 of Roger Debo. Can't quite do it. Debo pulls alongside. Side by side, they both gain into the back deck lid of that 34, Sean Bounty. They'll exit turn number 2, still side by side. They'll go single file behind them. Roger Debo with a slight advantage, but charging right back on the bottom is John Garrett. They got a good race running for that runner-up spot. Oh, maybe a little contact there. They both keep it straight. They dive off into corner number 1. Roger Debo has the position for the moment. Now John Garrett under fire from the 94, George Belfont Jr. Garrett to the inside. Can he save it? He will. Matthew Welsenbach will go down there. Not sure if it was net code. Not 100% sure if that was net code. But John Garrett getting the short end of the deal with 23 to go. $75 laps under the caution flag tonight. Yellow overload. We got them down to 22 laps to go. Sean Bounty holding on to the top spot. Roger Debo starting to reel him in just a little bit. The 48 of Brendan Papatat loses the handle in front of the leader, and I believe that is the cause for the caution. 130 of 150 complete. Here we come. Restart once again. Closing in on the final laps. Time ticking away. Sean Bounty now leading Roger Diebold and Brendan Kaluster, who's almost 3 wide back there. 12 of Paul Smith, who's up 21 spots. And that might have been the last yellow flag of the night. Looks like the 16 car might have been involved. Oh, looks like he just run over the 87 car. Oh, Raymond Rittenauer. Sean Bounty will pick up the pace car. Roger Diebold scored in that second spot. Brendan Kaluster, who's rides third. Fourth will be George Belfons Jr. Corey Deal, the biggest mover of the race so far, rides in the top 5. So looks like the time limit has been reached. Is Sean Bounty going to pick up the win? Roger Diebold finishes second. Brendan Kaluster, who's third. George Belfons Jr. fourth. And fifth will be Corey Deal. Corey Deal, the biggest mover in the race. They'll come across with the yellow and checkered. That'll do it from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Time limit up for tonight. The fitted champion Sean Bounty picks up the win. And we'll get them up in the booth. And we'll bring up now the driver of the 25 machine, Brendan the King Klosterhuis. Tough night out there, caution field race, but you're able to bring it home on the podium. And seeing you doing battling all night, up front. Started in the 5th position. The furthest you fell back tonight was 14th. Made it up to 2nd, and you ultimately finished 3rd. Congratulations.
Oh, thank you. I'd like to thank North Stream and JCOM for everything they give me here in the ITRL. It was a wild one out there today. I was actually pretty lucky to avoid all the carnage there. It was actually a really good battle between me, Bounty, and Roger there at the end. I was really hoping that was going to go green. I thought maybe I was going to have a shot, but you know what? I'll take another podium.
Definitely, indeed. It's with a with a night like we had, it's good to be finishing on the podium, and we'll let you get back and unpack this one with the teammates, and we look forward to having you back in the booth. It's always a pleasure, and good luck next week.
No, thank you very much, and thank you for everything you do out here, giving us the great broadcast, and hopefully I can give you a win celebration here in a couple weeks.
Alrighty, man. We sure appreciate it. Have a good one.
No, you as well, man.
Alrighty, that was the 25 of Brendan the King Klosterhuis. We'll get a word with the driver of the Dude Wipes 38 machine of Roger Diebold. Fast car all night long. Started tonight 8th, fell back to the 15th spot, and drove her up to the 2nd place finish. A lot of carnage out there. Not sure, I guess guys still don't have a handle on this race car. Seen a lot of single car spins collect quite a few drivers throughout the night, but you were able to just mar your way through there, man. And I believe if we'd have went green, you might have had something for the bounty hunter.
Yeah. I wish it wouldn't have gotten shortened due to time, but I feel like we had a really fast car and good handle on it tonight. I just feel like if that one lapper in front of us wouldn't have looped it and we were able to go green, I really would have had him. But that's all right, P2, and we collected some stage points and another bonus point for being the fastest out there. I know I was looking at it all night and was trying and I gotta get it, and finally got it done. So it'll be all right. Well, we may end up with a good spot here going into the playoffs and try to get the championship.
And I tell you, you and John had some great laps battling side by side at lap after lap, and you were able to get the best of John there and get by him. I'm not sure if it was a little net code, but he had trouble on the bottom of the speedway and ultimately fell back. And he had a good night running, and I'm not quite sure. I can't see the rundown, but I know it wasn't the finish he wanted. But nonetheless, take this one with a grain of salt, and hopefully we can get things corrected and see a really good race come Miami.
Yeah, definitely gonna need some practice for Miami. But me and John had some great battles there, same as George. I felt like I was kind of pinned in behind him most of the last third stage there, and then we'd swap positions. Another caution come out and swap back, and we were. I felt it was good, hard, clean racing between the three of us there, and it was a lot of fun. And glad I finally got around them, and just wish we would have had a chance for the win there.
All righty, man. Well, congratulations on the runner-up spot, and we look forward to seeing you in Miami and seeing how you'll roll into the playoffs, and hopefully we'll have that momentum just keep on rolling with you.
Yes, sir. I'll do my best.
Good luck.
Thank you, sir.
All righty, we're going to bring you up your winner of the Fast Cat Racing 150. As soon as I find my Discord channel where it went away. And driver of that Bounty Hunter 34 machine, congratulations on surviving tonight. The survival of the fittest. And man, I tell you, you, Roger, George, and John, I'll tell you, were put on a show all night long, right up there at front, racing side by side, doing it. And I'm not sure why everybody else had so much trouble. Maybe you guys have a little bit more time in the car, but y'all put on a heck of a show, and really would have liked to seen this one finish under green flag conditions, and I know you would have too. But nonetheless, man, you Parker in victory lane. Congratulations on picking up the Fast Cat Racing 150 from New Hampshire.
Yeah, it's a bittersweet. It was fun, but there was a lot of cautions, a lot of pacing. This track lends itself to a lot of chaotic moments. I feared that, my experience here is when you have like mid-break cautions and you get a lot of off-sequence drivers that pit early and then inherit the lead, that some of them, can run up there, some of them may be a little over their head, but you got to drive through them again eventually, and that's hurt me a lot. There's a few races I can think of where I felt like I had a pretty dominant car, at least a top two car, and we get to the stage break, cycle back because I'm trying to get the stage points, and you just get run over back there in the chaos. And this track today, the car, you can run the car hard, but you still had to be smooth. You get two cars too wide, and they're just stuck like that. And the only way to make any ground is you really have to push the car almost over the edge. And I think a lot of guys in the back kind of knew that. And it's just it's hard to pace yourself when you're running half the race under caution, and you got to get what you get. But yeah, felt like it was a pretty good car. It's great to finally run up front so much and get something in the win column. That's pretty cool. Um, yeah, I had a lot of fun here. We'll see next time if we run here again. I, I don't know, that they might maybe throw this one off the schedule for a while, but yeah, it was definitely fun running up there with those guys.
Yeah, I tell you, you become the 8th different winner in 9 races. Josh Cully, the only repeat winner of the season. And, there's a lot of talk behind the scenes, what can be done to curb some of these cautions. And as much as I hate to say it, I mean, we've seen it from tonight. Brendan Pampatat, he's new to the league, but we know the guy can drive a car, and he just seemed to, really struggle all night long. Don't really want to pick on Brendan, but that's the first one that comes to mind. And the only factor I can see really is the car. I mean, I don't really know what else to say. There's guys that's got a grip on it, and there's guys that don't. And the bad part about it is there's a fine line between having it and not having it.
No, you're absolutely right. And yeah, there's a couple new guys that came in that have the speed, um, but tend to not know where that limit is every so often in a race. And I think, a little bit time down the road that get some experience doing that. Some guys find it, some take a little longer than others. It's just kind of how we all learn from it. But yeah, this car, everybody complained about this car, and to me, it just seemed like a car where I spent a lot of time in the last few years trying to hone in some of those GT3 cars and some of those Le Mans style cars, and you drive those hard, you drive those aggressive in and deep, but you got to be smooth. And I think those cars kind of lend to my driving style, and to me, this car feels like that. you can drive it in harder, but you still have to be smooth, and you still have to like pay attention to throttle on exit. And that's where it's getting a lot of guys, I think, is when you're just a hair over the throttle, the rear end steps out on exit, and that's a big deal. It's definitely drives a lot different, and yeah, some people are going to have a handle on it more than others. And for me, like, I mean, you could see the amount of bonus points that I've racked up. I've never had a stack of bonus points like that before, but yeah, just I love running this car, and yeah, can't speak for everybody, obviously, because there's a lot of people that don't feel that way right now.
Yeah, that's definitely good, hitting on some good points there, because a lot of these guys that were good and consistent in the older car, they've had some years driving that car, and like myself, I came into iRacing because of dirt, and when I started, that was where I wanted to race. That's what I focused my time on. It was just in that dirt car, in the dirt car, in the dirt car, and some of these guys, they might practice, but they might only just practice this car, and they might not have a lot. Some people put a lot more time in it than others, and now it's starting to show. You get a new car, and they're still putting in the same amount of time practicing it, but guys like
Yeah.
you that drove these other cars, that branch out and kind of do other racing, that's starting to pay off in the long run as well.
Yeah, absolutely. I hate to pat myself on the back sometimes, but I don't win very often. I'm up on the leaderboards a lot, but I don't win very often, and it's just a matter of I don't like to overdrive the car. That's kind of like the main mentality that I have going into the race is don't overdrive the car and let everybody screw up around me. And it's kind of where like where the pieces fall. I end up near the front a lot, but I don't push the car very often, so I'm not really competing for wins that often, and that's kind of a difference. And I think if a lot more drivers kind of race either that way, then you're going to have more people fighting for wins. But those guys that do race hard and push the car for all it's got, they're taking bigger risks, but they're having more luck finding victory lane too. So risk and reward, and it's a lot of its mentality. So
And hey, I know some of these guys are going to be watching this interview, and you kind of give them the keys to the doorstep. There's a reason why you're a champion here in the Premier Series, man. It's always fun to watch you race, and we look forward to continuing to see that. And you got that ticket punched, and we're getting close to the playoffs, and you'll be able to roll in there now with some momentum and head into
and
Miami.
some extra bonus points.
Yes, most definitely. It'll be awesome, man, and good luck the rest of the way. And we hope to be speaking to you soon. We appreciate you taking your time out to race with us.
Absolutely, it's been a pleasure.
All right, man. Good luck.
Thank you very much.
Alrighty, that's going to wrap it up here from New Hampshire Motor Speedway. Night ending under time constraints. We do apologize, but we'll move on to Homestead Miami Speedway next Tuesday night. The Ryan Sadusky Memorial 200. Always a great race, and glad we can keep sharing the memory of Ryan Sadusky, son of an Iron Thunder Racing League competitor, Mr. Donald Sadusky. Glad we were able to have the opportunity each year to host a Ryan Sadusky Memorial, and we'll remember him next week from Miami, and we look forward to having you there, same place, same time. Y'all keep showing up. We'll keep showing out. Good night, everybody.